Hello, I'm the official name rater. My job is to look through the first page of Google, review the nicknames provided by the internet, and then give my recommendations at the end. Today we're looking at the last of the legendary birds, Moltres, and as you can see I've had to click on and revisit quite a few of these sites because they're all joined together. Starting off with the same thing we've seen the last 3 episodes. None of these are good. None of any of them are good. The one I liked most was Jack Frost, but like Moltres is just especially uninteresting. Especially Birdramon. I'm glad that said because Team Valor, because I couldn't remember the name. Like, I don't remember the names of the captains, but I'm okay with that. I think that's fine. And also, while we're at it, we're just going to go ahead and bring up, because we're going to see it on the spreadsheet too. Totally fine with you going the route of naming your legendary birds Mystic, Instinct, and Valor. I think those are all fine. I think they work Bayonetta style. I also just kind of realized as of recent that it also kind of fits a Binding of Isaac theme too, because I forgot there was enemies that had names like Famine and Gemini and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, I guess they both are similar and have similar concepts. Hot Wings is just, it's obvious and it fits, and personally, if I did name legendaries, I probably would have went with this because this one just makes the most sense as its wings are literal fire, but I personally use it on my Blaziken because chicken, but that's also just because I don't nickname legendaries. But I think Hot Wings is, if I did name it, that would probably be the one I went with. Fox, the Phoenix, Harry Potter. Is it generic? Yeah, I agree, but I also just think it's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I feel like people would probably get it, and if not, it's still just not a bad sounding name, and it's better than naming it Phoenix because you're naming it after a Phoenix. Oh man, this is a bad time to name your Moltres Corona. You could go ahead and take KFC in that same vein as Hot Wings and other things, so just acknowledging it for the sake of it, and that's about it. Rick and Morty. I don't really like that, but I also do like that, because on one hand it's Rick and Morty, so it's automatically trash by default, but on the other hand, it's clever, so I can almost forgive it. Popeyes is an alternative to KFC if you want to use that nickname. We're having lots of chicken food nicknames. Oh, I actually really like that. Fuck you, that's really good. Oh, that's perfect. Except they're not dragons, but regardless, that's probably the closest you're gonna... No, you could, I guess, use it for the black and white legendaries, because fire, electric, and ice. But all the same, I still want to acknowledge this because I do think that's clever. Especially when you consider the idea of Farouche being, for whatever reason, shooting lightning and stuff, despite being like courage and nature and stuff. But I like this theme. I think it's good. But I definitely think it works much better for Zekrom, Reshiram, and I don't know how to say it, Kyurem? But I guess you could also just name them like Din Furor and Nehru if you want to do that, or any sort of thing where you can take the Triforce and go in that direction. I think that's really good, and it's weird that it took until Moltres to see this idea. Okay, so I have this one written down, and obviously it's because I've been on this page 50 billion times. I'm fine with Yakitori. I think that one's okay. Also, I do want to acknowledge this just because this is also on Denny Sinnoh's thing that I've skipped, and it's he just names them after cars as well, but what's really weird is that that's exactly what this guy does, and they're the exact same names. Obviously, this one doesn't have Articuno in it, but if you click on Denny's link, you're going to find out what he named as Articuno. It's kind of weird, but I guess he just took the idea from this guy and claimed it as his own. I don't know. Okay, we've reached the bottom, and I gotta be real, this was the hardest thing in the world to read, and my mind is telling me it was 2004, it was a different time back then, let it go. But, geez, man, all the things in there were really bad. The only thing worth mentioning was just, like, generic fire-type nicknames, like Wildfire or Scorch. And those aren't even worth highlighting for the video, but yeah, that's it, we're at the bottom. I also think this is kind of funny, though, because it kind of mimics the evolutions where Vaporeon and Jolteon were crap, but Flareon had the best suggestions, and this, I feel like, is kind of what's going on with Moltres. Articuno and Zapdos had crap ideas, but Moltres, I feel like, has gotten the most love out of all of them. So to finish things off, we're going to check the spreadsheet. There's nothing here that we haven't seen that is worth talking about, because we've seen Fox, we've seen Valor, we've seen Candela. Thermodynamic is like, fucking what? And then the rest just isn't interesting to me. But, like, I do honestly think that Moltres had better suggestions than both Zapdos and Articuno, in the same way that Flareon had better suggestions than Jolteon and Vaporeon, and I think that's kind of weird. So, out of all of them, though, going over Valor, I think that one's a good choice. Hot Wings, Yakitori, Fox, I think those are all good. Again, I personally don't name my legendaries, but those are just the ones that I thought were good. The other one that I really, really like and do want to acknowledge again was the guy who came up with the Breath of the Wild Dragon ideas. I really like that. Like, maybe even if you don't want to go Din Roll, you could still just do Din, and that will fit with fucking Moltres, and then you can save Din Roll for Reshiram, and there you go. The only problem is they just don't resemble the colors. But all the same, I like that one, and I think that was probably the best thing I read out of all of those, because you could hear me actually get excited and be like, oh, that's a good idea, and that's the kind of emotion that I like to feel, and I like to make other people feel. So that's the ideas for Moltres. If you've got better ones, wow me like that guy did. You have goals now.